Sit down, pay attention, and take notes, because class is in session. Today, you are enrolled in Multi-Weapon 101, and I will serve as your instructor for explaining the details of the multi-weapon system. What's up, everyone? Thrift Shopping here. I am super excited to share this video with you. Just a reminder that I am live daily on Twitch, I post screenshots on my Twitter, and love chatting with the community in our Discord. All links will be down below. Now let's get on with the video. Multi-weapons allow the user to synthesize two weapons together and use each weapon's attacks and photon art seamlessly, without the need to switch weapon palettes. So how does it all work? Well, when you use one skill of a certain weapon, the multi-weapon will instantly switch to the weapon necessary to use that action. The multi-weapon will then switch back to the other weapon when a specific action is used from that weapon type. There are some limitations with the multi-weapon system in regard to specific actions or techniques, but we will discuss those in further detail later in the video. So why is this multi-weapon system important? Well, certain classes will benefit greatly from being able to use specific actions from a different weapon without having to swap to a different palette. This creates smoother and more effective combat for certain class and weapon combinations. For a lot of classes and weapons, just having access to a specific weapon action can improve your combat quality of life tremendously, and that sometimes is all that you need to make a multi-weapon effective. So how do you go about creating a multi-weapon? Well, you can go to Lavona. She's the Item Lab Enhancement Technician in Central City, and it will require Meseta and Photon Quartz to make a multi-weapon, and the price of each resource will differ depending on the rarity of the weapons that you are using. Now, I will remind you, you do have to have two weapons of the same weapon series to be able to create that multi-weapon. A frequently asked question about the multi-weapon system is, do I need to enhance or augment the weapons before I multi-weapon? The answer is no. You do not need to enhance or augment. All of this can be done once you have created your multi-weapon. Furthermore, if you do have enhancement levels, augments, and even fixes on the weapon you intend on using as the base weapon of that multi-weapon, all of those stats will remain on the newly created multi-weapon. So make sure to double check which weapon is the base weapon in your multi-weapon craft and confirm that this is the weapon with fixes, augments, or enhancement levels you wish to keep after the multi-weapon craft is completed. So now that we have a grasp on how to make a multi-weapon, why it's important, how it can be important, let's get into the nitty-gritty and how you can really start utilizing the intricacies of this multi-weapon system. A common misconception about the multi-weapon system is, do I need to be both classes that both parts of the multi-weapon have? Now that's both a yes and no answer, and let me explain why. Multi-weapons only require the user to be able to equip one part of the synergized weapons, which means you must match one of the weapons with their required class. As for the other half of the multi-weapon, you do not need to have the corresponding class. All multi-weapons will allow you to use the normal attack and weapon action regardless of if you are the appropriate class. Now, if you wish to use that weapon's photon arts and photon blasts, you would then need to be the required weapons class. So let me show you an example of this real quick. I am currently a main class bouncer, subclass hunter, and I'm going to show you two different pairs of multi-weapons I have made for this class. The first one I'll show you here is a dagger multi-weapon with a soaring blade. So this is a fighter slash bouncer weapon. Even though I'm not a fighter, I am still able to equip it, but if I decide to change my weapon palette out while I'm in the twin dagger or the fighter subsection, I am only able to use the normal attacks and weapon actions. Everything else is grayed out. I cannot use them, but I can switch them into specific weapon actions. So if I switch to that weapon, I'm still able to use the twin dagger's weapon action, but I wouldn't be able to use anything else but that and the normal attack. Now on the flip side, this Theseus wire, I am a hunter subclass and a bouncer main class, so I can use any of the Wired Lance's skills, as well as their weapon action and their normal attack. So I can show you that. Let me switch. So I can use Soaring Blade, normal actions and skills, but I can also use all of Wired Lance's skills, as well as their weapon action. One important consideration to make when creating a multi-weapon is that each weapon will scale off of its specific potency type. Ranged weapons require ranged potency, tech weapons use tech potency, and melee weapons need melee potency to affect their damage. If you do combine two different weapon types and wish to improve the damage that each weapon can do, you will need to augment that multi-weapon with general potency. Augments such as Alt Secreta, Ale Domina, and Mastery give this type of potency that will affect each weapon type. Let me demonstrate how augmenting a multi-weapon for specific potency types will affect only one part of a multi-weapon. We will be performing a test based on this Svea multi-weapon, and we will use the critical hits of both the rifle and soaring blade and compare them with the same Svea multi-weapon with ranged augments and melee augments to see if there is any differences in the damage observed. What these results show is that there is an improvement in damage for the rifle when augmented for ranged potency, and an improvement in damage for the soaring blades when augmented for melee potency. So be sure to augment your own multi-weapon with the appropriate potency type. So do certain classes or weapons benefit from this multi-weapon system? The answer is yes. Some classes suffer from movement abilities, which can be acquired through skills or weapon actions via the multi-weapon system. Some classes wish to have more photon power regeneration, which can be achieved with the use of other weapon actions. Maybe your class suffers from mobbing or bossing abilities. There can be weapons that can improve on those inefficiencies. Or in some cases, using a different weapon's photon blast can be a huge benefit. Another benefit to the multi-weapon system is obtaining color variants on weapons by combining a base weapon with a color variant and a material item with no color variant. The result is that you now have a multi-weapon that has color variant, and this will affect both weapons. You can also use multi-weapons as the base weapon in a new multi-weapon craft. As long as you select the multi-weapon as the base item, and a weapon of the same series as the material item, it will replace the previous material item that is a part of the multi-weapon. So I mentioned before we would go over some of the limitations to the multi-weapon system, so let's get into that right now. Some weapons can use their own class weapon action to exit a photon art early. This wouldn't apply to the other weapon of multi-weapon and vice versa. So for example, twin daggers can use their weapon action to exit any photon art early. In the case that twin dagger is a part of your multi-weapon, you wouldn't be able to use that twin dagger weapon action to leave the other weapon's photon arts. And if you have a multi-weapon with two weapons capable of using techniques, you will have to use a normal attack, photon art, or weapon action to switch to the weapon you wish to use these techniques. Thanks for watching. I decided to leave some good multi-weapon combinations on this end card for anyone curious. If you have any further questions, feel free to join the Discord or ask below in the comment section.